All right, back for another deep dive. And, we've talked about the Dr. Wright, all the faces they've had, all the places the TARDIS has gone.
Right.
But today we're talking about something a little bit different, something that's been requested, actually, by you guys, the listeners. And that's the scariest creatures in Doctor Who.
Okay.
Now, I got to say, I've definitely hidden behind the sofa a few times myself watching this show. There's just something about those creepy encounters that really get under your skin.
Absolutely. And I think what makes Doctor Who's monsters so scary is that they often tap into some of our deepest fears, like anxieties about technology, the unknown, even loss of control. It's not just mindless monsters, right? They actually reflect some of our own vulnerabilities and force us to kind of confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves.
Right. So let's start with some of the big ones, right? The classics. Got to start with the Daleks. I mean, they're like the poster children for Doctor Who villains.
Yeah, definitely.
But what is it about these metallic pepper pots that make them so terrifying? Is it just the exterminate, or is there more to it?
Oh, there's definitely more to it. The Daleks are way more than just, shouting robots.
Right. Yeah.
Remember their creator Davros?
Yeah.
He engineered them on Skaro, a planet ravaged by war, to be genetically modified mutants, and then encases them in those iconic metal shells.
Right.
But what really makes them terrifying is their total unwavering belief in their own superiority and their complete lack of empathy.
It's like they're programmed to just not care at all.
Exactly. It's like their programming just eliminates anything resembling compassion.
Remember that episode where they invaded Earth?
Oh, yeah.
And just started vaporizing everything in sight? I still get chills thinking about that.
Yeah.
But it's not just their firepower, it's that just emotionless, relentless drive.
Yes.
They will stop at nothing to achieve their goals.
They will wipe out entire civilizations.
Yeah. It's terrifying.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they represent the dangers of unchecked ambition and fanaticism.
Yeah.
They make us kind of confront that uncomfortable reality that even the most advanced technology can be used for destruction.
For sure.
Especially when it's driven by that kind of ideology.
By hate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's like they're a cautionary tale wrapped in a sci-fi shell.
Right. Speaking of creepy, though, let's move on to another iconic baddie, the Cybermen.
Okay.
Now, these guys really creep me out, the idea of being forcibly upgraded.
Oh, yeah.
Stripped of your individuality and emotions.
That's a nightmare.
That's a nightmare scenario right there.
So the Cybermen actually started out with pretty it's interesting. They were originally a species from mundogs.
Okay.
And they were desperately trying to survive.
Okay.
Their planet was basically dying.
Right. And to survive, they started gradually replacing their bodies with cybernetic parts.
Oh, so they started out with noble intentions. Almost.
Right, exactly. But in their quest for survival, they lost their humanity and became these cold, calculating beings obsessed with achieving perfection through forced conversion.
It's like their solution became the problem.
Oh, right, right, exactly.
And it really speaks, I think, to our anxieties about losing ourselves in the pursuit of progress.
Yeah, especially
with, technology advancing so rapidly these days.
It forces us to ask that question, how much are we willing to sacrifice in the name of progress?
Right.
And what happens when we lose touch with our emotions?
Yeah, and become slaves to technology.
Right.
And, just aesthetically, the Cybermen are just creepy.
Oh, yeah, totally.
So blank, emotionless faces, metallic voices. It's like something out of a dystopian nightmare.
Yeah. Their appearance definitely adds to the fear factor, for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
They embody the fear of dehumanization, the loss of individuality in a technological society.
Exactly.
Okay, speaking of creepy, let's talk about weeping angels.
Oh, boy.
Now, these guys...
For a good one.
Oh, they're the stuff of nightmares. I mean, statues that come to life.
Yeah.
When you're not looking.
When you're not...
Pure psychological terror.
The weeping angels are masters of psychological horror.
Oh, yeah.
They're quantum locked, meaning they can only move when they're not being observed. The moment you blink, they can strike.
It's terrifying.
It's brilliant.
It plays on our primal fear of the unseen.
Oh, for sure.
And our vulnerability when we're alone in the dark.
Oh, yeah. Remember that episode, Blink?
Oh,
The way
yes.
they use shadows and those quick cuts
Uh-huh.
to create suspense. I was literally on the edge of my seat the whole time.
It's so
And
good.
the idea that they don't kill you outright, they send you back in time.
Back in time. Just so unsettling.
So Blink is really a masterpiece of horror storytelling.
It is.
It perfectly captures their terrifying nature,
Yeah.
really emphasizes the suspense and that psychological manipulation
Right.
over outright gore,
Yeah.
and it leaves you with this lingering sense of paranoia.
Oh, yeah.
You start to question every statue,
Yes.
every shadow.
For sure.
You know?
It makes you realize that danger can work in the most unexpected places.
Yes.
Even in seemingly inanimate objects.
Right.
And sometimes the act of just looking away can have really dire consequences.
They also force us to kind of confront our own mortality in a unique way.
Okay.
You know, being sent back in time isn't just a physical displacement. It's a disruption of your timeline.
Yeah.
A loss of your future.
Whoa. Okay. I'm officially creeped out.
All right.
Let's take a deep breath and move on to another creature that really messes with our perception. The silence.
Ooh, the silence.
These guys take paranoia to a whole new level.
Yeah. They really do. They're fascinating because they exploit the limitations of our own memories.
Right.
So, you know, they're these tall, slender figures with blank faces.
Right.
But their most terrifying ability is that they make you forget them
Yeah.
the moment you look away.
Yeah.
Like, you could have a face-to-face encounter,
Uh-huh.
and seconds later, you wouldn't even remember it happened.
It's like they're erasing themselves from your mind.
Exactly.
It's terrifying. And it makes you question your own sanity.
Your reality.
Your own reality.
Yeah.
Like what's real, what's not.
Exactly.
And they can manipulate you without you even knowing.
Right.
It's happening.
They press on that fear of the unknown.
Oh, yeah.
And that unsettling possibility that we're not in control of our
Yeah.
own minds,
Yeah.
of our own memories.
It's like that feeling when you walk into a room and forget why you're there,
right.
but amplified to a terrifying degree.
Ex-
Suddenly, like government conspiracies and hidden truths don't seem so far-fetched.
Right. They tap into those anxieties brilliantly.
They do.
They make us question what we think we know
Yeah.
and highlight the vulnerability of our perception.
All right, for our final villain in this part of our deep dive,
Okay.
let's talk about someone a little bit more complex. The Master.
The Master.
Now, the Master isn't like your typical monster, right?
Right.
They're a Time Lord, just like the Doctor,
Yeah.
but with a vastly different moral compass.
A very different moral compass.
So what makes the Master so scary?
Well, the Master is a fascinating study in contrasts.
Okay.
Like the Doctor, they have incredible intelligence and the power to manipulate time and space.
Right.
But while the Doctor uses their abilities for good,
Yeah.
the Master is driven by this lust for power and control,
Yeah.
often resorting to these manipulative tactics and elaborate schemes to get what they want.
Their relationship with the Doctor, though, is so complex.
Oh, it's so interesting.
It's like this twisted sibling rivalry
Yeah.
played out on a cosmic scale.
It really is. And their connection adds this layer of tragedy to the Master's villainy.
For sure.
They understand each other in ways that nobody else can.
Right.
And yet their choices put them on opposite sides of this,
Yeah.
cosmic battle.
It's like a constant reminder that even the most brilliant minds can be corrupted by power.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting to think about how the Master really reflects our own anxieties about power and corruption.
Yeah.
I mean, we see it all the time in the real world, right?
Mm-hmm.
People in positions of authority abusing that power
Absolutely.
for their own personal gain.
It's a timeless theme, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Master is a reminder that power can be really intoxicating.
Right.
And even the best of intentions can get twisted
Oh, yeah.
when ambition takes over.
And the Master has had so many different faces over the years, right?
So many.
Like every actor brings their own unique spin
Definitely.
to the character, and it keeps things fresh and unpredictable.
Yeah.
But that core desire for power,
Yeah.
that manipulative streak, it's always there.
It's always there. And I think it's fascinating how each regeneration of the Matter kind of taps into a different facet of that lust for power.
Okay.
You know, sometimes it's about domination. Sometimes it's about chaos.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's about proving their intellectual superiority.
Okay, so we've talked about some of the big names,
Yeah.
the iconic villains.
Mm-hmm.
But the Doctor Who universe is vast.
Oh, it's huge.
It's teeming with all sorts of creepy crawlies and terrifying creatures.
Oh, yeah.
So what are some of the lesser-known monsters that still give you chills?
Oh, let's see. Well, how about the Zygons?
Okay, the Zygons.
Those shape-shifting creatures.
Oh, yeah.
They can perfectly mimic any human.
Oh, that's creepy.
It makes them almost impossible to detect.
Imagine not knowing if the person next to you is really who they seem.
Right. It's like right out of an identity theft nightmare.
You'd be looking over your shoulder constantly.
Exactly.
Second-guessing everyone you meet?
They really exploit our fear of the unfamiliar.
Yeah.
The fear that things are not what they appear to be.
Yeah.
They make us question our own perception of reality.
Okay, what about those potato-headed warriors?
Oh, the Sontarans.
The Sontarans. They may not be as universally feared as the Daleks.
Right.
But they're definitely not creatures you want to mess with.
Oh, no. They are a warrior race obsessed with conquest.
Oh, wow.
Like, their entire culture revolves around warfare.
Wow.
And they see the Doctor as a worthy adversary.
Right.
But what's interesting is that their aggression isn't really fueled by hatred or ideology. It's their way of life.
It's just how they are.
Yeah, it's how they're built.
So they're like the ultimate soldiers.
Yes.
Driven by duty and honor.
Yes.
Even if their methods are a little brutal.
A little brutal and a little ruthless.
Yes.
But that single-mindedness makes them very formidable opponents.
Right.
But it also makes them somewhat predictable.
Okay.
They're not really known for their cunning
Right.
or strategic thinking.
So they're more about brute force than brains.
Essentially, yes.
Okay.
But don't underestimate their determination.
Right.
They're incredibly resilient.
Yeah.
And will stop at nothing to achieve victory.
Okay, we can't talk about creepy creatures without mentioning the Vashtanerata.
Oh, those are a good one.
Microscopic swarms of carnivorous shadows.
Oh, it's nightmare fuel.
That is pure nightmare fuel.
Yeah, the Vashtaneratas are such a good example of how Doctor Who can take a simple concept like shadows and turn it into something truly terrifying.
And they lurk in the darkness.
Yes, unseen, unheard.
Until it's too late.
Until it's too late. And what's even more unsettling is that they're not like inherently evil.
Right.
They're just predators
Right.
following their instincts.
Like a force of nature almost.
Exactly. It's a reminder that nature can be both beautiful and terrifying.
Yeah. Okay, last but not least, let's circle back to the silence for a second.
Okay.
We talked about their memory wiping abilities, but there's so much more to these creatures
Oh, yeah.
than meets the eye. Or didn't meet the eye, I guess.
Right.
Consider you can't remember them.
Well, they're shrouded in mystery.
Right.
There are some theories that suggest they've been influencing human history for centuries.
Oh, wow.
Like manipulating events from the shadows.
That's a chilling thought.
It's a very chilling thought. It's like they represent those unseen forces that shape our lives.
Right.
The things we're not even aware of.
Yeah. It makes you wonder how much of our reality is actually under our control.
Exactly. The silence tap into that fear
Yeah.
that we're not in control of our own destiny.
It's a powerful fear.
It is.
You know, we've talked a lot about how these creatures scare us.
Yes.
But I think it's important to remember that fear
Yeah.
can also be a powerful force for good.
That's an interesting perspective.
Yeah.
How so?
Well, fear can motivate us to act right,
Okay.
to protect ourselves and those we care about.
Right.
It can also inspire creativity and innovation as we try to overcome the things that frighten us.
Yeah. Think about how many scientific advancements have been driven by a desire to understand and control the natural world.
Exactly. To conquer the things that we once feared.
Right.
And, you know, in Doctor Who, we see that play out time and time again.
Oh, for sure.
The Doctor's encounters with these terrifying creatures often force them to think outside the box.
Yeah.
To come up with clever solutions,
Right.
unexpected strategies.
It's like the Doctor embodies this idea that fear, when channeled properly, can be a catalyst for growth and positive change.
And let's not forget that fear can be entertaining.
Oh, yeah.
You know, in a controlled environment, of course.
Right.
Like, that's why we enjoy horror movies, haunted houses. And yes, even scary episodes of Doctor Who.
Definitely. There's a certain thrill that comes from confronting our fears.
Yeah.
Experiencing that adrenaline rush of a good scare.
And when it's done well,
Yes.
horror can be a very cathartic experience.
Absolutely. It allows us to explore those darker emotions in a safe space.
Right.
To face our anxieties and come out the other side feeling a little bit braver.
And Doctor Who, with its blend of science fiction, adventure, and horror, provides the perfect platform for exploring these themes.
It does.
So, as we wrap up this part of our deep dive into the scariest creatures in Doctor Who, I want to leave you with this thought. Which of these villains scares you the most and why?
Ooh, good question.
Is it the cold, calculating logic of the Daleks?
Yeah.
The body-snatching horror of the Cybermen?
Ooh.
The psychological terror of the Weeping Angels?
Yeah.
The memory-wiping mystery of the Silence? or the cunning, manipulative nature of the Master?
It's a tough one. Each of these creatures taps into a different primal fear,
Right.
a different aspect of our anxieties.
Yeah.
And by confronting those fears, even in a fictional world,
Right.
like Doctor Who, we can gain a better understanding of ourselves and the world around us.
Absolutely. So until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning,
Yes.
and never be afraid to face your fears.
That's right.
Who knows, you might just find that they're not as scary as you thought.
And remember, the universe is a vast and wonderful place full of wonders and a few things that go bump in the night.
You know, it's amazing how Doctor Who uses all these fantastical creatures to reflect like real-world anxieties and societal fears. We talked about technology, the unknown, even the nature of truth itself.
Yeah.
But what about the fear of power?
Oh, that's a good one.
That seems to be a recurring theme with a lot of these villains.
It is, absolutely. Think about the Daleks and their relentless pursuit of domination, or the Cybermen, and their belief that they are the pinnacle of evolution.
Yeah.
And everybody else needs to be upgraded.
Yeah, it's creepy.
And of course, the Master, consumed by that lust for power and control.
Yeah, they really represent that, like, dark side of ambition, right?
Yeah.
The potential for power to corrupt even the most brilliant minds.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder, what is it about power that can make people do such terrible things?
That's the question, isn't it?
It is. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the allure of control.
Okay.
That feeling of being above the rules.
Right.
Or the belief that you know what's best for everyone else.
Yeah.
It's a slippery slope.
It is.
And once you start down that path,
Yeah.
it can be hard to turn back.
And, you know, it's not just the villains who grapple with those temptations of power.
That's true.
Even the Doctor, with their unwavering moral compass, is sometimes tempted to use their abilities for personal gain or to interfere in events that they shouldn't.
It happens. That's part of what makes the Doctor such a compelling character.
Yeah.
They're not perfect. They make mistakes.
Right.
But they always strive to do what's right, even when it's difficult.
Even when it's hard.
Yeah, and I think their struggles with power remind us that it's a responsibility that should never be taken lightly.
Like that old saying, with great power comes great responsibility.
Exactly. And Doctor Who, with its exploration of those power dynamics and the consequences of unchecked ambition, really serves as a powerful reminder of that truth.
And, you know, even in the face of all these terrifying creatures, there's always hope.
There is.
The Doctor never gives up.
Never.
Always fights for what's right.
Always.
And really inspires us to do the same.
It's a good message.
Yeah. That's what I love about Doctor Who. It's scary. It's thought-provoking.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's a show about hope.
Yeah.
About the power of good to triumph over evil.
Right.
And about the resilience of the human spirit.
And it reminds us that even at a universe full of Daleks and Cybermen and weeping angels, there's always something worth fighting for.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the scariest creatures in Doctor Who, I hope you've gained a new appreciation for the complexities of these villains and the ways in which they reflect our own fears and anxieties.
For sure.
And remember, the next time you're feeling scared, take a cue from the Doctor.
Okay.
Face your fears. Never give up.
Never give up.
And always believe in the power of hope.
That's right. Until next time, keep exploring.
Yeah.
Keep questioning.
Keep watching the sky.
And keep watching the skies. You never know when the TARDIS might appear.